When you think of the pioneers of West Coast rap, there are several names that immediately come to mind. Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Tupac, and Snoop Dogg, just to name a few. One name consistently glossed over, though, is Warren G. As both an artist and producer, he's one of the most important names to the culture. The pioneer of the G-Funk era not only ushered in a new musical subgenre, but was personally responsible for introducing several other major players in the hip-hop game, along with being instrumental in helping to shape one of the most important, influential, and best-produced hip-hop albums of all time. Warren Griffin III was born one of 4 children and the only son of an airplane mechanic father and dietitian mother in Long Beach, California on November 10, 1970. The couple would divorce when Warren was 4 years old, and he, along with his sisters, would go on to live with his mother in East Long Beach until he was about to start middle school. In the early 80s, after Warren's mother noticed her son going down a not-so-great path, she sent him to live in Compton with his father. There, Warren would get the chance to listen to his father's extensive collection of jazz, soul, and funk records. He would also frequently hang out at the local VIP record store. Warren actually didn't just move in with his father. He also moved in with his father's new wife. Warren's stepmother had children from a prior marriage, too, 3 to be exact, one of whom was Andre Young, later better known as famed rapper, producer, and Death Row Records co-founder, Dr. Dre. 5 years older than Warren, Dre was already doing his thing with music, so Warren was able to have a front row seat to observe and learn from him. Also at this time, Warren would cross paths with his future group mates, Nathaniel Nate Dogg Hale and Calvin Snoop Dogg Broadus. Warren and Snoop met when they attended elementary school together. In high school, when Warren was a senior and Snoop was a junior, they would battle against anyone they could find at the other surrounding schools, with Warren taking over beatboxing duties and Snoop rapping. Warren and Nate linked up during their time at Martin Luther King Jr. Park playing basketball. Later, when Nate joined in to sing the hooks to Warren and Snoop's songs, their sound would get taken to an even higher level, and they would officially form the hip-hop trio supergroup 213, derived from LA's original telephone area code, which served the city of Long Beach. Even though Warren's passion for music was strong, he still chose to dabble in illegal activities. At age 17, he ended up jailed for gun possession. Upon his release, though, he vowed to leave the street life behind. One day, Warren went to visit his stepbrother Dre to catch up, and found him at a bachelor party, thrown for Dre's friend, Andre L.A. Dre Bolton, another record producer. At one point during the evening, L.A. Dre was trying to figure out what song to play next. Warren, who came prepared, took the opportunity to pop in his group's tape. Liking it, L.A. Dre called Dr. Dre over, who also loved what he heard and wanted to sign them right away. However, things still didn't take off the way Warren thought they would. By 1992, Dre's debut solo single, Deep Cover, was out, introducing Snoop to the masses. He may have only been a featured guest on the track, but his star power was undeniable. Warren was relegated to helping Dre find sounds for his debut solo album, The Chronic, which further debuted Snoop. Before long, Snoop's own debut solo album, Doggy Style, dropped. Nate, too, had joined Dre's label and was featured on Dre's debut as well as Snoop's while working on his own material. So what was going on with Warren? Well, he would later reveal that he did get offered a contract from Death Row, just like Snoop and Nate, but he was in no rush to sign it until he could have it looked over by a lawyer. He also advised Snoop not to sign his contract either. One person that didn't appreciate that was Dre's label partner, Suge Knight. Warren even told the story in a 2018 radio interview with Big Boy that Suge actually chased him down and almost put the paws on him until Warren threatened to call on his homeboys to handle Suge. Eventually, Warren decided to head back to Long Beach in an effort to carve his own artistic path. In 1993, Warren met John Singleton. The film director asked him to produce a song for the soundtrack of his forthcoming picture, Poetic Justice. The track, done by Mr. Grimm, called Indo Smoke, featuring Warren and Nate, would be the end result. The single's success led to Warren being courted by numerous labels, before ultimately signing with Russell Simmons' Def Jam Recordings. Another positive outcome from the track was it getting the attention of fellow West Coast rapper Tupac. He put in a call to Warren to come to his studio and play him some beats, which resulted in the tracks Definition of a Thug Nigga and How Long Will They Mourn Me. Warren's debut single, a duet co-written and performed with Nate called Regulate, would drop in April 1994 and be featured on the soundtrack to the sports drama film Above the Rim, as well as Warren's debut album, Regulate, G-Funk Era. It went to number 1 on the rap chart, became a top 10 hit on the R&B hip-hop chart, and soared to number 2 on the Hot 100.
They dropping and yelling, it's a tad bit late. Nate Dogg and Warren G had to regulate.
The track also single-handedly saved Def Jam from going bankrupt and put the label back on the music map. Years later, Warren would tell Vlad TV that they recorded the famous version everyone would come to know and love in a closet in his Long Beach apartment. When asked why they didn't re-record it at a professional studio, Warren said because it sounded good as it was. The second single off his album, This DJ, went gold. The following year, at the Grammy Awards, both singles received nominations. By now, everyone was pretty much in agreement that Suge done messed up by not making Warren a part of the Death Row family. Suge himself, though, just continued to be angry about everything and lash out whenever the spirit moved him. One example of this was at the 1994 Billboard Music Awards, where Warren was asked to perform Regulate. Of course, he needed his partner Nate on stage with him, but Suge said no. Warren wasn't having it and came prepared that night for whatever could possibly go down. Not to start any drama, but to ensure that nothing happened to Nate, who did get on stage and put on a fantastic show. Warren's second album, Take a Look Over Your Shoulder, was released in 1997. It produced his third pop hit with a spin on the 1984 Tina Turner song, What's Love Got to Do With It, featuring Adina Howard. It reached number 2 on the UK singles chart and peaked in the US at 32 on the Hot 100. Two other singles, his version of Bob Marley's I Shot the Sheriff, featuring Nancy Fletcher, and Smokin' Me Out, featuring Ron Isley, also captured top 40 placements. But since the G-Funk sound was declining in popularity in the US by this time, the album only went gold, a far cry from the 3 million sales of his debut. I Want It All, Warren's third effort, released in 1999, has him mainly producing, while vocals go largely to guest artists, including Nate, Snoop, Corrupt, Eve, Slick Rick, and others. The single and title track, featuring Mac 10, became Warren's last top 40 appearance to date. In 2004, a 213 album finally arrived, titled The Hard Way. It would be their one and only project release and received mixed to positive reviews from critics. Warren's next 3 solo albums, 2001's The Return of the Regulator, 2005's In the Midnight Hour, and 2009's The G-Files, all produced lackluster results. After a 6-year hiatus, he dropped the single, My House, the lead track off his first EP that would arrive in the summer of 2015, titled Regulate, G-Funk Era Part 2. It features E40, Too Short, Jeezy, Bun B, and Nate Dogg. He told Billboard.com, I feel real good that I'm getting the chance to let people hear a lot of that sound that has been missing in hip-hop. I finally have records that I have in the archives that I put together to let the world hear some of that G-Funk that they've been missing and wanting to hear for a long time. Apart from his music career, Warren has become quite the family man, which includes his wife Tennille and their 4 children. A documentary film titled G-Funk was distributed by YouTube Premium in 2017. It uses previously unreleased archival footage to describe the rise of G-Funk in the early 90s and features interviews with Snoop, Chuck D, Ice Cube, Ice-T, Too Short, the DOC, and, of course, Warren G. In 2019, Warren launched a line of barbecue sauces and rubs called Sniffin' Griffins. The venture was inspired by his father, who was a chef in the US Navy, an avid barbecue lover. Warren came back on the music scene in 2022 with his latest track, Life is Beautiful, in which he takes a stance against violence in Los Angeles. Today, he continues to tour across the US and Canada and currently has dates scheduled up to the end of the year.